Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto was training Anko, Hinata, tshum, Itachi, and Rin fell in love part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Team 7 was walking to Nami no Kuni when Naruto thought of something. Funu, you know about me, why have you never told me about you? He asked. Funu shrugged. You never asked, she said. Well, can you tell me about you? He asked. It's a long story, she warned. I want to know more about you, he told her. Fine, Funu said. Flashback. Funu's Uchiha was walking around the Uchiha district by herself. Being a direct descendant of Madara, she was treated like royalty by everyone in the clan and it annoyed her. Instead of praising her for how hard she trained, they praised her for things that happened decades before she was born. And having the long hair and some facial appearance of Madara didn't help. She was the youngest living Uchiha, only 5 years old, but she was already predicted by the clan elders to be a prodigy. As she thought about that, it pissed her off even more. They never even saw my fight, or train for that matter. How do they know I'm going to be a prodigy, she thought. In short, everyone in the clan was starting to annoy her. Her parents died on a mission and instead of treating her like they would any other Uchiha orphan, they treated her like she was queen of the world. She quickly developed an attitude that said, with me and I'll hurt you even if I am only 5 feet, and a few times she went through on that to one. Sasuke Uchiha, the boy closest to her age, only a year older, after he kept asking for her hand in marriage. Honestly, I'm 5 years old, why the hell would I think about marrying anyone, let alone someone who can't beat me, she thought angrily. Her mental rant on how pissed off she was at the Uchiha clan was interrupted. Funu, dinner's ready, her guardian said. Yes, Miss Makoto, Funu replied kindly to the older woman. Funu, why am I the only one who you don't talk to as if you hate them? Makoto asked. You're the only one who don't treat me as if I'm some kind of princess. You treat me the same as you do every other Uchiha kid, like a kid, Funu said. Makoto smiled. Because you are a kid in my eyes, but to everyone else you are the princess of the Uchiha clan, she said. Why, I don't want to be a princess, I want to be just Funu and create my own path. I hate how everyone thinks they have to give me everything, Funu said. I know you do, sweetie, but you only have to put up with it for a few more years until you get on a genin team, Makoto said. Funu followed Makoto in silence to her house and took her normal seat next to Sasuke. Sasuke blushed like usual, which Funu ignored, and grabbed a plate and filled it with potatoes and fish, her favorite dinner. As she started eating, she felt a pair of eyes on her and looked up. What? She asked. Funu, I know you have been training by yourself, but now I'm going to start training you, Fugaku said. What Otusan can you train me? Sasuke asked. Of course he will, Sasu-kun, Makoto said. Fugaku was about to object until Makoto glared at him. Of course son, you can train with us, he said nervously, looking at Makoto, who smiled sweetly at him. Funu rolled her eyes. Yay, whatever, not like I have a choice, she said. Of course you have a choice, you're the heir to the clan, Fugaku said. No, she don't have a choice, this isn't an option, it's time for her to get trained formally by someone who knows what they are doing, Makoto said. Makoto, she does have a choice in this, Fugaku said. Why is that? Because she is a descendant of Madara or because she is the heir? Makoto asked. Well, both, Fugaku said. Makoto pinched the bridge of her nose. You're letting a 5-year-old tell you what to do, yet you boast about being the strongest in the clan. You're a walking contradiction and you're sleeping on the couch for the next month, she said. What? Why, I didn't do nothing, Fugaku said. This is not a discussion or you don't have an option. Do not come into my room this month, Makoto said and started to eat. Funu smiled and continued to eat her food. Thank you, Miss Makoto, she said. Don't thank me, dear, and no more, Miss Makoto, you're as much of my family as anyone else, just call me Makoto, she said. The next day, Funu just finished training with Sasuke and Fugaku. The entire thing was supervised by Makoto because Fugaku was showing special attention to Funu and not training them how he was supposed to. Funu at the moment was walking around the village and went to the park. As she got there, she saw it was empty except one girl. She went up to her. "Can I play with you?" she asked. "Sure. I'm Sudaru Akamichi," she said. "Funu Uchiha," she told the girl. Sudaru looked at her. "You seem different than any other Uchiha. Why is that?" she asked. "What do you mean?" Funu asked. "Well, the other Uchiha our age is stuck up and always talk about me and says how he is so much better than me," Sudaru said. "Oh, you mean Sasuke? I don't like him. He fawns over me all the time. It's really annoying," Funu said. "So why are you so different?" Sudaru asked again. "Well, everyone in the clan except Makoto treats me as if I'm some princess or something. No one treats me like a child, so I decided I'm going to be just like Makoto. She is so nice but still strong, and she didn't even unlock her Sharingan," Funu said. "Oh, want to be friends?" Sudaru asked. "Sure," Funu said. A few hours later, Makoto came looking for Funu and found the two playing in the sandbox. "Funu having fun? Who is your friend?" she asked. "Yes, and this is Sudaru. She is an Akamichi," Funu said. "Well, hello, I'm Makoto," she said. "Hello. Funu told me about how nice you was," Sudaru said. "Is that so?" Makoto asked with a smile. "Yes, she said you was the nicest in the clan," Sudaru said. "Well, thank you, Funu, for the compliment," Makoto said. Funu smiled. "You're welcome, Kasen," she said. Makoto looked at her while she slapped her hands over her mouth and ran away. Sudaru looked at where she was sitting at. "Why did she run like that?" she asked. "Don't worry about it. I'll make sure she gets home safe. You should get going yourself. It's almost dark out," Makoto said and went after Funu. Funu ran into the forest that was closest to the park. She ran to her secret spot that she made a grave for her parents. She stopped in front of their makeshift grave and fell to her knees crying. "Why did you have to die? I called Miss Makoto Kasen. I didn't mean to, but it slipped. I'm sorry, Kasen. I hope you're not mad," she cried. Funu stopped crying after a few minutes and cleaned the weeds and twigs off their grave. "So you're probably wondering why I called her Kasen. Well, since you died, she was the only person who didn't treat me as if I'm some freaky person. To everyone in the clan, I'm Princess Funu, or Madara's legacy, or the girl who was born with Madara's spirit, or the Uchiha savior. But to Makoto, I'm just Funu, 5-year-old girl with no family, and she took me in." Funu sat between her parents' grave and cried again. Makoto watched the 5-year-old with tears in her eyes. She didn't want to, but she had to make sure she was okay and heard everything she said. After a few deep breaths, she walked out. "Funu, are you okay?" she asked. Funu quickly wiped her face. "Sorry I ran away like that, Miss Makoto," she said. Makoto walked behind the 5-year-old and pulled her into a hug. "Don't be sorry. You're still trying to get over your parents' death, and I'm not trying to take their place, just make it easier for you," she said. Funu turned and hugged her. "Thank you, Miss Makoto, for being so nice to me," she said. Makoto smiled. "You're like the daughter I always wanted but can never have," she admitted. "Why can't you have a daughter?" Funu asked. "Well, I can't have any babies. I got too injured during a mission to have any," Makoto said, trying not to get into the details. "Oh," Funu said. She laid her head on Makoto's shoulder. "Well, Funu, time for us to get back home," Makoto said. "Okay, Kasen," Funu said. "What did you call me?" Makoto asked. "I called you Kasen. I talked to mine and she said she is not mad that I call you Kasen," Funu said. Makoto looked at the makeshift grave and smiled, then carried her daughter home. Makoto walked into the house carrying Funu and Sasuke looked at them. "Kasen, why are you carrying Funu?" he asked. "Because she wanted me to carry her," Makoto responded. "But she is not your daughter, her parents are dead," Sasuke said. "Sasuke Uchiha, go to your room and don't come out until I tell you to," Makoto said. "What, why? I didn't do nothing," Sasuke complained. Funu kept her face into Makoto's shoulder so Sasuke wouldn't see her cry and make fun of her. Makoto just glared at her youngest son. Sasuke, I said get to your room now. You have no idea how those words hurt and I'm very disappointed that you would say something like that, she said. But Kasen, Sasuke whined. Makoto smacked him. I said get to your room, she demanded. Sasuke ran to his room crying while holding his hurting face. Makoto took Funu to her room and laid her on her bed. Don't be mad, he takes after his Otusan and you know how much an idiot he is, she said. But why would he say something like that? He don't know how it feels not to have parents to play with me, to punish me, or to eat with me, Funu cried. Makoto rubbed her back. Shush my daughter, I want you to know that your parents are always watching you, she said. Really? Funu asked. Makoto kissed her head. Yes they are and they will be proud of the young woman you're growing into, she said. Thanks Kasen, that means a lot to me, Funu said. Makoto smiled. I'll bring your dinner up to you after I talk to that son of mine, she said. Later that night after Funu finished her dinner, Makoto walked into her room with Sasuke. Funu glared at him then turned to face the other way. Funu, don't be like that, Makoto said. He shouldn't be such a stupid head, Funu said. You have a point Funu, Makoto said then turned to Sasuke. Sasuke, do you have something to say? She asked. Sorry, he said. Funu just ignored him. Sorry for what? Makoto asked. Sorry for what I said, Sasuke said. And, Makoto asked. And I will never say it again or I will be in trouble, Sasuke said. Funu still ignored him. Funu, Makoto said. Fine, I forgive you for being a stupid head, she said not looking at him. Good, now time for bed both of you, Makoto said. Once she heard Sasuke walk out, Funu turned around. Can you train me instead? She asked. Are you sure Fugaku is stronger than I am? Makoto asked. I don't care how strong he is, I don't want to be strong, I want to be like you, a great kunoichi, wife, and Kasen, Funu said. Sure, I'll train you Funu, but I won't go easy on you just because you're my daughter, Makoto said. Funu smiled. Thanks Kasen, she said and closed her eyes to sleep. 2 months later, Funu and Sasuke was standing across from each other in the training field. Be careful you two, this is just a spar, don't try and hurt each other, Makoto said. Begin, Fugaku said. Sasuke took off towards Funu and aimed a punch towards her head. Funu ducked under the hit and tried to kick Sasuke in the stomach. The older boy used his greater speed to dodge and get behind Funu. Funu wasn't no slouch in the speed department either and showed how her training with Makoto helped her by being able to keep up with Sasuke, who was said to be the fastest young Uchiha. Sasuke kicked at Funu's midsection but Funu blocked and tried to kick him in the head. They exchanged and blocked a few hits and kicks with each other until Sasuke was able to score a right hook to Funu's chin. Fugaku jumped in the middle. That's enough, he said. What, I'm not finished, I can still fight, Funu said. Funu, this wasn't to see who was stronger but to see where you are in your training, Makoto said. Okay, Funu said and walked to get her water. Later that day Funu was sitting in her room doing basic chakra exercises, since it was too late to be outside when Makoto walked in. Why are you still woke? She asked. I couldn't sleep, Funu said. Still thinking about that spar? Makoto asked. I know I can beat him, he just got lucky, Funu said. Makoto smiled. I have no doubt you can, but what is more important is that your form for this new speed style you're learning had little openings. If you keep this up you will surpass even Itachi in speed in a few years, she said. This style uses speed to beat the opponent and not power, right? Funu asked. Yes, Makoto replied. So would it help if I increased my own strength by myself to help give my hits more force? Funu asked. Well, as long as you don't do anything that will take your speed advantage away, I see no reason to stop you, Makoto said. Okay Kasen, I think I will try and get some sleep. Little did Funu know that would be the last time she lost a spar to anyone her age or who wasn't a chunin in a long time. A few years later, Funu and Sudaru was in their secret spot training to their heart's content. The two best friends was easily the two strongest their age. The two 7-year-olds didn't really get along with other girls their age, they was too materialistic for their taste. The only girls they talked to was Ino Yamanaka and Tenten, but even they was more so they was up on the latest news around the village. They did train with them a few times though. Funu didn't understand why other girl didn't talk to Sudaru. She was easily one of the nicest girls in the village, she never hurt a fly, and was cute. Funu shrugged it off as jealousy because it was clear that not many could compete with the young Akamichi in looks. There was that Hana Inuzuka and Hanabi Hyuga, but they stayed to themselves, especially Hanabi. She always looked like she was expecting someone to come to the village. Sudaru stopped their spar out of breath. For the life of her she couldn't figure out how Funu had so much more stamina than she did. She trained just as hard, she put a lot of effort in getting stronger, but Funu was still ahead of her. It annoyed her at first, but she got over it after she finally was able to beat her Aniki in a spar. Even if he wasn't going all out, she still beat him. Sudaru looked at Funu. Are you starting the academy tomorrow? She asked. Yes, I think I will. Kasen said if I wanted I can to be in the class with you and Ino. Even if we ain't the best of friends, I would rather be in class with two people I consider friends than without anyone I know, Funu said. Hey, we should get new clothes for the academy, Sudaru said with stars in her eyes at the thought of shopping. Funu rolled her eyes. What's wrong with the clothes I have? She asked. No offense, but those clothes look like they was hit by a couple high-ranked jutsus, Sudaru said. Funu looked at her baggy pants and overly large shirt. They are comfortable, and I got this shirt from Kasen and it's my favorite, she said. I'm not saying get rid of them, but you need your own look. You are turning into a mini Makoto, Sudaru said. Is that a bad thing? I do look up to her, Funu asked. No, but don't you want to make a name for yourself and not be looked at as if you was a mini Makoto? Sudaru asked. Better than being looked at as Madara's granddaughter. At least Makoto is alive, Funu said. Just come on. You only have to get a couple outfits, Sudaru said, dragging Funu with her. Funu walked out of the dressing room wearing a pair of form-fitting black shorts and a white t-shirt that stopped just where the shorts begin. I like this outfit, I'm buying it and more like it, she said. Sudaru rolled her eyes. The idea was to get your own style, she said to Funu. I know you can't expect me to get out of my comfort zone without working my way into a new style, can you? Funu replied. I guess you right, Sudaru said. She then spotted a black dress and looked at Funu and smiled. Don't even think about it, Funu growled out. Oh come on please, Sudaru said. Not in all the levels of hell will I buy that thing, Funu growled. But I never seen you in a dress, Sudaru countered. And if I have any say in it, which I do, you want, Funu said. Please, at least try it on and I won't never ask you to try on a dress again, Sudaru asked. Funu looked at her. On the Akamichi honor, she asked after a while. On the Akamichi honor, I will never ask you to try on a dress after today, unless you ask my help to find you one, Sudaru said. Fine, but no one better not find out about this, Funu said. She then took the dress and went into the dressing room. After a few minutes she called out, Sudaru, how do you put this thing on? She asked. Sudaru had to suppress her giggles. Hold on, I'll help you, Sudaru said and walked into the room with her. After she had the dress on, Sudaru and Funu stepped out of the dressing room and Sudaru looked at her. Funu didn't know what to do, so she spent around so Sudaru can see the entire thing. What do you think? She asked. You're beautiful. I would ask you to buy it, but I made a promise, Sudaru said. Funu thought. Well, it feels weird, she said. At least you know how to put on a dress if you ever need to wear one, Sudaru said. Yay, but I never will, Funu said. What about when you get married or if you go to a funeral? Sudaru asked. Funu shrugged. I'll wear my normal clothes, she said. A few years later, Funu was staying at the Akamichi compound when the village's alarm went off. The two 10-year-olds jumped off the couch and ran to find Sudoru's parents. Shuza ran to them. Come with me, Funu. Suduru, go in the kitchen with your Kasen and Choji, he said. Shuza put his hand on Funu's shoulder and vanished from Sudoru's view with a shunshin and appeared in the hospital. What happened to Sasuke? She asked. There was a murder in the Uchiha clan, the third said. A murder? What happened? Is everyone else okay? Funu asked, worried. I don't know how to tell you, but you and Sasuke are two of the last three Uchihas, the third said. What do you mean? Funu asked, scared of what she was hearing. Itachi killed the Uchihas except you and Sasuke. He also put Sasuke in the hospital. I think he used the Mangekyo Sharingan to show him killing everyone and caused Sasuke to go unconscious, the third said. Funu dropped to her knees crying. And Kasen? Is she dead also? She asked, already knowing the answer but had to ask anyway. After all, she was the only Uchiha that was ever nice to her. I'm sorry, Funu. I know how much Makoto meant to you after your parents died. The third was cut off. No, you don't know anything. I lost my Kasen twice. How could you know what I feel? How can any of you knowww had I feel? Funu yelled as her fully mastered Sharingan activated and started to spin from her emotional lost. She then jumped out the window and ran away from everything. The third and Shuza looked at the window the 10-year-old jumped out of. I hope she is going to be okay, Shuza said. As do I, the third said. She is right, you know. No one knows what it's like to lose two Kasens. Most of us never lost our first, Shuza said. I know, but what can we do besides give her time and our support? The third asked. I don't think she wants our support. Honestly, I have seen this girl in action and she is amazing. It's no wonder Makoto takes so much pride in her, even saying she is better than Itachi when he was at her age. I think the only thing we can do is wait and hope this don't kill the girl we all knew as Funu and create the girl the Uchihas called Madara's granddaughter, Shuza said. You're right. Now I have a large funeral to plan, the third said. Funu ran, then ran some more, and ran again. She didn't know where she was going. She could barely see in front of her face with all the tears. When she stopped, she found herself in a familiar place. Oh Kasen, why do everything always get taken away from me? She cried to the two makeshift graves. Funu just sat there crying her eyes out. 3 days later. The day of the Uchiha funeral was upon the village and no one had seen Funu even once since she was told the news. Everyone was worried. None more so than Suduru, the girl's self-proclaimed older sister. She sat in the front of the funeral service in hopes that Funu would come and let her help her through this. To Sudoru's surprise, everyone in the village, even the Hyugas who hated the Uchihas, was at the funeral. She walked up to Hiyashi. Not to be rude, but why are the Hyugas here? I thought you hated the Uchihas, she asked in confusion. Hiyashi nodded. I understand the reason for the question and we do hate each other, but the Hyugas don't have a reason not to come to the funeral if it involves someone from this village, and no matter how much we hated each other, we both depended on the other to keep enemies from outside the village off our back while we watched over our half of the village, he explained. So what will you do now? Suduru asked. I will do what I can to keep the village safe like always. Today is a time to mourn, but our enemies will not take it easy on trying to catch us off guard, and as long as the Hyuga clan is alive, we will do all we can to make up for the loss of one of the largest shinobi clans in the village. Of course we can't do it by ourselves, and I would expect the other shinobi clans to do the same, Hiyashi said. Oh, was all Suduru said as she walked back to her seat. Everyone who was around was just as surprised at what Hiyashi said, all knowing how many times Hiyashi and Fugaku tried to kill each other. Funu woke up still tired after making another makeshift grave, this one for her second Kasen. She looked at them. Sorry I wasn't there to protect you, Kasen, she said. As she turned and started to walk away, she remembered what Makoto said. A true kunoichi doesn't look for revenge. A true kunoichi don't fight to kill. A true kunoichi fight to protect what's important to her. A true kunoichi will always protect what's important to her until her last breath. When the time comes, Funu, will you be a true kunoichi or will you be an avenger and dishonor all those who gave their lives to protect you? Funu smiled as remembered those words and headed towards the village. The funeral was just about over when the gate to the grave house was opened. Everyone turned in shock at the beauty that just walked into the funeral. Suduru couldn't help but smile as she saw her best friend in that dress she tried on a few years ago. It did surprise Suduru that she could still fit it, but then again while everyone grew Funu remained one of the smallest people in the entire village, standing at a mere 4 foot 5 inches. Every guy within 5 years of her age in the funeral stared awestruck and drool out of their mouth at her. She was wearing a long black dress that touched the ground. It was strapless, and hair was no longer in her usual bun but hung down her back, just like both her cousin's hair did. She slowly walked up to the front of the funeral and saw Suduru and hugged her quickly, then stepped up by the Hokage. "Can I say something?" she asked. "Of course," the third said. Funu turned and faced everyone and was about to speak, but her words caught in her throat and she started to cry again. For a few minutes everyone looked at her with tears in their eyes. Suduru finally got up and ran up to her friend. "Come on, let it all out, we can wait," she whispered while hugging her. 5 minutes later Funu stopped crying. "Better?" Suduru asked. "Yes thanks Suduru," Funu replied. Suduru was about to walk back down to her seat but Funu grabbed her. "Can you stay with me?" she asked. "Of course." Suduru smiled and stood next to her for moral support. Funu breathed. "I'm sure you all know who I am, so I won't bother telling you, but I would like to say that Makoto was the closest person to me since my cousin died. She became my second cousin." Funu stopped and had to force back tears. "She taught me everything I know and at times I wasn't the best person to deal with, but she just smiled and said it'd take time to get used to having someone to look after me. She even taught me how to smile again when my cousin was killed on her mission." Funu stopped and thought of what to say next. "I remember one day I was mad and tried to kill Sasuke because he started to talk about my cousin. When cousin Makoto stopped me, she took me to our training area and looked me in the eyes and said, 'A true kunoichi doesn't look for revenge. A true kunoichi don't fight to kill. A true kunoichi fight to protect what's important to her. A true kunoichi will always protect what's important to her until her last breath. When the time comes, Funu, will you be a true kunoichi or will you be an avenger and dishonor all those who gave their lives to protect you?' At first I didn't know what she meant. But I think now." Funu stopped and looked back at the graves of the Uchihas. "I think now I understand. They wouldn't want me to get revenge. I have friends who love me. I have people to protect. I have a village to keep safe. I have a legacy to carry out. I am a kunoichi and kunoichis don't look for revenge, they protect. I will do everything in my power to protect those I care for and those who can't protect themselves." I think that's what she meant. A true kunoichi doesn't go out trying to get killed or kill. She only raises her hands to kill for the kids, men, women, and old people who can't do it themselves. A kunoichi never takes a life for her own gain. Funu finished. Once she stopped talking it was quiet for a minute, then slowly everyone started to clap for her. Suduru turned and pulled Funu into a hug. "What a great speech Funu," she praised. Funu smiled. "I couldn't have done it without you," she said. The two went back and sat down. The third stepped up. "I think everyone here will agree that what Funu said is true on so many levels and don't just apply to kunoichis, but also shinobis, and we can only hope Sasuke takes the same attitude," he said. A week later, Funu was standing inside the council's office. "We think it's a good idea for you and Sasuke to date," one of the council members said. "And who gave you any idea I would take anything you consider into consideration?" Funu asked coldly. "It's for the best. This way we can start to rebuild the Uchiha clan as soon as possible," another council member said. "Look you bastards, I'm not a damn baby making factory, I'm a kunoichi, and if I decide to have any children at all it will not be with that arrogant, stuck up, selfish, asshole Sasuke, it will be with who I chose," Funu said. "You don't have a choice," the council member said. "Oh, I want you to try and force me to do anything and you will see just why Kasen said I was better than Itachi," Funu threatened. The shinobi council smiled at that threat. "Funu, you have to think about this. It's a great opportunity to start the Uchiha clan over how you want it. Danzo said. I said no and I'm not changing my mind, and if I have to I will make sure Sasuke never has kids, Funu threatened again with her Sharingan active. Well, you have your answer, you can go, Funu, the third said. Funu walked out the tower with her Sharingan still blazing. Funu, what's wrong? Suduru asked. Those bastards tried to force me to have kids with that jerk, Funu said. What, but Otusan said they can't force you to do that since you are not the last with your bloodline, Suduru said. It wasn't the entire council, just the idiotic civilian council and the elders, Funu said looking at Suduru. Funu, fight me, Sasuke said. I don't have time for you, Funu replied walking past Sasuke. Sasuke waited until she was past him then attacked her. Funu reacted too fast for Sasuke and kicked him in the head. She then put her foot on his throat before he could get up. Everyone looked surprised at how easily she took him out. Funu looked at him with her Sharingan spinning. You just don't get it, do you all explain it? I don't have time for your damn games, Sasuke. If you keep attacking me when I tell you I don't want to fight you, I will end up hurting you. Maybe even kill you. So, she put more pressure on his neck. Stay the away from me, she said, then walked off with Suduru. That was impressive. Have you gotten faster? Suduru asked. I haven't slowed down my training. I need to be able to protect what's important to me, Funu said. So what will you do about the Sasuke? Suduru asked. Don't know, sometimes he asks to spar. Sometimes he follows me like a love-struck kitsune asking me to go out with him, but he is a full-time pain in my and sharing an apartment only makes it worse, Funu said. Well, hopefully in a year we will be on the same team, Suduru said. Hopefully also between you and me I hope I can find someone who isn't a lost kitsune in love, you know, just a guy who actually treats me like any other person, Funu said. I know what you mean, it happens with me all the time, and I can only imagine how bad it has gotten since everyone saw you in that dress, Suduru said. I know I shouldn't have worn it, now people won't stay away from me, Funu said. Yay, join the beautiful air club, me, Ino, and Hana have to deal with that all the time, Suduru said. So that's my history, Funu said looking down. I didn't mean to make you relive that, Naruto said. It's fine, it actually feel good to tell someone, Funu said. So you get your style from Tem's cousin. I still find that hard to believe, I mean he is such a, Tem, Naruto said. I know, sometimes I think the doctors switched him at birth, Funu laughed. Well, anyway, thanks for sharing your past with me, even though you didn't have to, Naruto said. It's fine, Naruto, Funu said. A few hours later they was walking through Nami no Kuni when Naruto threw a kunai into some bushes, and Funu had a kunai in her hand. Naruto ran into the bushes but only found a white rabbit. He frowned for a minute then shrugged, holding the scared animal. Haku would love this, he said. Naruto no baka, now is not the time to get gifts for your fangirls, Sakura yelled. Are you serious calling someone a fangirl? Your head is so far up Tem's unclean that you breath through his mouth, Naruto said. They used a substitution, Funu said. Yay, but who was there? They must be at least Junin because I know I'm faster than most Chunins, Naruto said. I agree with you, they must. Get down, Funu yelled all of a sudden as she, Naruto, and Kakashi who pulled Tazuna fell to the ground. Sasuke and Sakura barely dropped in time. I see you have good senses to notice me, the person said. Why damn mister, you're clever, almost hit me and my new rabbit, which by the way you scared, Naruto said. The man chuckled, so that's where my rabbit is, thanks for finding it, can I have it back, he asked. Nope, finders keepers, Naruto said holding the rabbit away from the man. Naruto, now is not the time for your jokes, Kakashi said. What, just because Zabuza is here don't mean I can't have fun, life of a shinobi is too short to be a stuck-up prick, Naruto said. Funu finally started laughing, which she was trying to hold in. Man, you're so, you said, then you held it away, she couldn't even get her words out through her laughter. You're a hazard to Fluffy's life, Zabuza, can you hold your attack so I can seal her in a scroll, Naruto asked and pulled out a scroll and ink and started to make a seal for the rabbit. You named the rabbit after 10 minutes, Funu asked. Well yeah, she can't be nameless can she? Naruto asked. Naruto no baka, what makes you so sure it's a girl? Sakura yelled. Naruto looked at the pink pain in his, well unless you're blind, deaf, retarded, and have a problem with your own, it's pretty damn hard not to notice it's a girl, he said, holding the rabbit up so she could see the female part of the rabbit. I waited long enough, time to kill the old man, Zabuza said. Naruto put the scroll in his pack. Cyclops, I am not at his level, so you're going to have to take him, if you can, that is, he said, dropping back next to Funu in a defensive position. A few minutes later, Kakashi was caught in Zabuza's bubble prison yelling at them to run back to the village. Naruto unsealed his gunblade. Anyone have a plan? He asked. They all thought, we need to free Kakashi-sensei, Sakura stated. Holy shit, that's freaking brilliant, why didn't anyone else think of that? How long did it take you to figure that out? Naruto asked sarcastically. Naruto, now is not the time, Funu said while thinking. Got it. Tem, do you have those large shuriken? She asked Sasuke. Yes, why? He asked. Because. She then told them the plan. Naruto summoned a bunch of clones and sent them all at Zabuza. Then Sasuke jumped and threw his large shuriken at Zabuza, who easily jumped over it. You're going to have to do better than that, he said. He then saw the second in its shadow. Shit, you bastards, he said, bringing his clever to block it. The one behind him popped. Back here, idiot, Naruto yelled, running across the ocean towards him, gunblade ready. Zabuza brought his clever around ready to strike Naruto. Now Funu, he yelled. The other large shuriken went pop and Funu was running at him from the front with Naruto from the back. Damn brats, he then pulled his hand out of the bubble and used a kunai to block the bow staff and his clever to block the gunblade. Kakashi kicked him in the back, sending him flying. Damn it, Zabuza yelled. Good work Funu, now leave this to me. Kakashi then went through some hand signs. Why the hell do you insist on not giving me credit for my skills? Naruto yelled in frustration. Naruto, don't let the pervert we have for a sensei get to you, Funu said, walking back to shore with Naruto. Just as Kakashi was about to kill Zabuza, he was kicked and Zabuza was gone with whoever kicked him. Naruto shook his head at him. That's what he gets, he mumbled to Funu. The genins, mainly Funu and Naruto, dragged Kakashi to Tazuna house and was greeted by his daughter Tsunami. Thank you for keeping my Otusan safe, she said. Don't worry miss, I would have came alone with him if I had to, Naruto said. Yay, and got yourself killed, Sasuke mumbled. Lick Sakura's unwiped hem, Naruto said. Naruto, don't ever put an image like that in my head again, Funu said. Sorry, but your relative is an arrogant prick and he pisses me off, Naruto said. I know that, he is my relative, remember, Funu said. So what do we do now? Naruto asked. Fight me, Sasuke said. Fight yourself, Naruto said, turning to Tsunami. Is there anything you need help with around the house? I can catch fish or cut tree for warmth for next winter if you want, Naruto said. How sweet of you, but if you don't mind, I don't have enough food for everyone. It would be nice if you went to the market and get whatever you can, she said. Sure, anything to help, he said, and get away from those two, he mumbled. Funu, fight me, Sasuke said. Why don't you practice safe and go yourself? I'm going with Uzumaki, we don't know what enemies are here, Funu said, walking out the door behind him. The two started to walk around the village and noticed how poor it was. What the hell, we can't eat this stuff, Naruto said. It's all that they have, Naruto, and stop being so loud if you're going to talk bad, others can hear you, Funu said. I wonder how it got this bad. I was here 2 years ago before I came back to Konoha and it wasn't this bad, Naruto said. Must be that Gato guy, Funu said. I have an idea, follow me, Naruto said and ran back to the house. Make sure no one is watching. I'm going to grow them some vegetables, then we can go catch some fish, he said. Okay. Kage Bushin no Jutsu. She created 3 clones and sent them to watch Sasuke. Sakura, and Kakashi, our teammates are in the house nowhere near the window, she said. Mokuden. Vegetable grow no jutsu, he said. He put his hands on the ground and pushed his chakra through the ground. In the space all around them all different kinds of vegetables grew. I'm going to do some fruit now, he told Funu. Okay, you are still clear to do it, Funu replied. Naruto went to another part of the yard. Mokuden. Fruit grow no jutsu, he said. All types of fruit bushes and trees grew. He got up and went through more hand signs. Mokuden. Fenced off no jutsu, a large fence grew around the yard going from the pier by the ocean all the way to the house. There no one will be able to get into their yard unless they use the ocean or from the house, he said. That was a nice thing you did, Funu said. Naruto shrugged. When you grow up like I did, you do anything you can to help others, he said. Now we need to get the food in the house without being noticed, Funu said. Well, if I'm sensing right there in the living room, we can run in the back door and then out the front door, then come back in, Naruto suggested. Okay, let's get going, Funu said. Once they returned to the house, they called Tsunami, who was pleasantly surprised by the fruits, vegetables, and fish they had. How did you get all this? The best I can ever get is almost old food, she asked. You have to promise not to tell anyone how we got it, Naruto said. I promise. Tell me please, I can't keep feeding my son this stuff, Tsunami said in desperation. Just tell her, Funu said before Naruto could say anything else. Well, I can use Mokuden jutsus to grow trees and with more concentration and chakra plants, so I use this ability to grow you a garden. You have vegetables and fruit growing in your yard. As long as they stay watered, you will always have food, Naruto said. Tsunami looked in her yard and almost squealed. Thank you so much, Naruto. She hugged and kissed him a few times on the cheek. She then hugged Fun just as tightly but didn't kiss her. Thank you so much, Funu, you may have saved my family, she said. It was our pleasure. Anytime you need something, send word to Konoha for an Uzumaki, Senju, or Funu and we will come help you, Funu said. That night at dinner, Tazuna and Inari was surprised at the freshness and tastiness of the food and got curious. Mom, where did you get this food from? It's so good, Inari asked. Tsunami could keep the giddiness and squeal out of her voice but knew her promise. Naruto and Funu intercepted a cart of vegetables, fruit, and fish going to Gato and killed the samurai and took the food for a son. She easily lied with all the happiness in the world. Thank you too. You kept my grandpa safe and got us good food. If there is anything I can do to thank you, then let me know, Inari said. Just don't give up faith in your country as long as you believe things will turn around, Naruto said. And always look after your cousin and show her your love as much as possible. You never know when you won't have her no more, Funu said. Kakashi slowly came down the steps. I knew I smelled something delicious, he said. You can thank those two. They caught a shipment of food headed to Gato and brought it here as payment for letting you all stay here, Tsunami lied again. Kakashi eyed the two. Is that so? Then a good job is in order, he said. Finally I get some freaking recognition on this damn team, Naruto said. Kakashi sat down and Tsunami brought him some food. Now I will be out of commission for a few days, so while I'm out I want you four to learn tree walking and water walking, he said. I already know both of those, Naruto spoke up. Then help the other three, Kakashi said. I know them too, Funu said. Then Lady Uchiha, you help Sakura and help her with taijutsu and increasing her chakra reserve please, Kakashi said. Okay, I will help her but only if she don't drop that Sasuke-kun crap while I'm helping her. The last thing I need is to hear her fawn over my tem cousin during personal training, Funu said. She won't. Naruto, you help Sasuke with tree walking and then teach him some jutsus that Jiraiya-sama taught you, Kakashi demanded. The hell I will. The best he gets from is a kick in the rear while falling out of a paper plane, Naruto said. Paper plane? Funu asked. Oh, I'll show you later. It's a jutsu my cousin taught me, Naruto said. Naruto, you will teach Sasuke some jutsus, Kakashi said. Yay, when you teach me that Rasengan copy Chidori of yours, Naruto said. You're not skilled enough to learn that, Kakashi said. And he is not skilled enough to learn any of my jutsus, Naruto said. Naruto, this is not a request, it is a demand, Kakashi said. Miss Tsunami, can I be excused? Naruto asked his host. Sure, Naruto, make sure to be back in time for a good night's sleep, she said. I will. Naruto got up and walked out the room, not sparing another look at Kakashi. He took his plate to the kitchen and walked back and out the front door, not saying anything but smiling at Tsunami. Funu looked at her team. Can I be excused? She asked Tsunami. Sure, she replied. I'll make sure he is safe, and took her plate to the kitchen and ran after Naruto. Hey, slow down, she said once she caught up. Funu, why are you out here? He asked. She shrugged. You think I want to be stuck in there with an arrogant cousin, fangirl, and a sensei who is clearly playing favorites with Sasuke? He even treat him better than he treats my, and I'm the freaking heir to the clan, she said. Right, well, want to see that jutsu I told you I would show you? He asked. Yes please, she said. It's another bloodline, from my cousin side of the family, he told her. Kami origami. Paper plane, he said, going through hand signs. A large piece of paper came out of the ground and formed into an airplane. The girls at home love this technique, they always have me take them on rides over villages with it, he said. Can we go for a ride? She asked. Sure. He helped her up on the paper plane. Careful, and don't make sudden moves. Once it's in the air it's not as strong, and if I use Kyuubi's chakra it won't fly as fast, Naruto told her and jumped behind her. Okay, I'm ready, she said. Naruto used his Fuden element and propelled the plane into the air and over Nami no Kuni. As they flew over the country, Funu noticed something. Naruto, look, I think I found Gato's hideout, she said, pointing to the large building with a ton of samurais. I think you did. Should we tell our team? Naruto asked. We can when we get back, but now I want to find that lion scroll your dragon said was here, Funu said. Naruto landed on the ground and jumped out. Taju Kage Bushin no Jutsu, he said. 200 clones puffed into the area. Okay, go find that lion summoning scroll, leave no rock unturned, no building unsearched, and a one of you go to Gato's place we saw and look around for useful information, he said. Kage Bushin no Jutsu, 20 clones appeared in the area. You help look for the scroll, and one of you go to Gato's and look for information, Funu said. She then thought, wait, I need another one to train. I haven't been able to get any in today, she said. One of you go train with her, Naruto said. They got back on the paper plane and started to fly over the country. They saw how poor Gato was making the place and both wanted to go and blow the building that Gato was in right now. Hey Naruto, maybe we should find out who was helping Zabuza so we can be prepared, Funu said. They flew around the country looking for any clues as to where Zabuza was or who was helping him. Eventually they found a suspicious house that was too far out of the way and sent a clone there. Naruto looked at his watch. We better get back or Tsunami might worry, he said. Funu laughed. We are ninjas and we are worried about a civilian who we are protecting worrying about us, she laughed again. Naruto laughed also, thinking it was kind of ironic. He landed the plane out of eyesight of the house. Why did you land so far away? She asked. I don't want Kakashi to try and demand I teach it to his precious Sasuke. Not that I can anyway since it's a bloodline, but you know how the pervert is, Naruto answered. I got you, she said. How did he get the Sharingan? I thought only Uchihas could have them, Naruto asked. Not true. Only an Uchiha can use them to their full potential, but it's still just an eye and all eyes can be transplanted, which reminds me, if I somehow die, I want you to take one of my Sharingans as a sign of our friendship, she said. Really, you think of me as that much of a friend? Naruto asked. Funu smiled. You're as good of a friend I would ever want, she told him. Naruto went in his pack and pulled out a scroll. Funu, here. He took out a letter that was on a piece of yarn. This is a sign of my friendship. As long as you have this, we will always be friends and nothing can stop us from being friends, he said. Thanks, Naruto. She took the letter F and out it around her neck. They walked in the house. Pervert, we have something to report from our walk around the village, Naruto said. Kakashi flipped the page of his book and read a few lines which really ticked Naruto and Funu off because this information could be life or death. He finally looked up. What do you have to report? He asked as if he really didn't care. We found Gato's hideout. It's not even on this island but a few miles offshore and it's surrounded by samurais, Naruto said. We also found Zabuza. He is further up on the island leading to Kiri. It's the only house in the area so you can't miss it. He is with Kisame and a medic Nin, Funu said. Kakashi nodded. Good job Funu, he said. Can please close the door when you leave and sleep well, he said. Naruto walked out of the room fuming at Kakashi now. I can't believe that bastard didn't give me my credit again, he said angrily. I can't either, Funu said just as angry. They walked into the living room and sat on the couch. Tsunami walked in from the kitchen with a few apples. You shouldn't let him get to you so much. It's obvious to me, and I'm just a civilian woman, that he shows favorites towards that other boy, she said handing a piece of fruit. But he have been giving my credit to Tem since we became a team. If it wasn't for me talking up about the missions we was getting we wouldn't even be here now, Naruto complained. Hey, I don't know how things work with you ninjas but us non-ninja people have a saying, what goes around comes around, and I think that things will come and bit all three of them in the soon, Tsunami said. And I hope it's by a rabid one-legged ferret with no teeth, Naruto said. Tsunami and Funu looked at him then they started laughing. The next day, everyone was up eating breakfast which consisted of fresh pancakes that Tsunami made from the wheat she harvested from the garden Naruto grew her. He added specific things at her request so she can make more well-rounded meals instead of just veggies and fruits, as Inari put it when he saw what they had in the fridge. As they ate Sasuke glared at Naruto the entire time. Naruto tried to ignore him like Tsunami suggested but this was started to be overboard. Tem, what are you looking at? Just so you know I don't flip sticks, I like swimming in the pond, he said. It took them a few minutes to get what he was saying but when they did Tsunami, Funu, and Tazuna laughed. Kakashi had no reaction. Sasuke was seething. Inari didn't know what he was talking about and Sakura was jumping over the table at him. Naruto no baka Sasuke is not gay, she yelled swinging at his head which he ducked under. How can you be to shore? I mean only, a gay as you said, would constantly refuse a girl who is literally throwing herself at him, no matter how useless she is as a kunoichi, or how pink her hair is, or flat her chest is, Naruto said. I'm not throwing myself at him and I haven't reached puberty yet, Sakura yelled. Then do tell. What do you call it so we all can get our vocabulary right? Naruto asked. I'm just supporting him, she said. By throwing yourself at him? Naruto asked. No, by being there when he needs me, Sakura said. Even when he shows no interest in girls, I think I even caught him looking at me once. Why do you think I never turn my back on him when he is near me? Naruto said with a smirk. Sasuke-kun is not gay. You're the one who is gay Naruto no baka, Sasuke yelled. I happen to know for a fact that Naruto is not gay, Funu said with a small blush as she remembered Naruto, poking her just above her when went flying in his paper plane and knew it wasn't his hands because they was wrapped around her waist. Naruto also had a small blush as he remembered that. Sakura, can you get off my table before you have to eat your food on the floor, Tsunami said. Sorry Miss Tsunami, Sakura said. I'm done. I'm going to get some training in before we have to watch Gigi build his bridge, Naruto said leaving the house. I'll be ready in 30 minutes, Tazuna called after him. Funu, can you help me in the kitchen? Tsunami asked. Sure. Funu walked in the kitchen with her plate. What's up? She asked. How was your time with Naruto last night? You two was gone for quite a while, Tsunami asked. Well, it was great, she replied. Funu then made sure no one was listening. He has a bloodline that allows him to use kami origami also. He made this large airplane thing and we went flying over the country. It was so fun. I didn't want it to end, she said. Tsunami smiled. Sounds romantic, she said. She then looked at Funu. You like him, don't you? She asked. Funu actually blushed hard. What makes you ask that? She asked. Aside from that blush, you have been finding reasons to be with him the entire time you was here. I mean, make sure he is safe. What is the worst he will have to deal with? A few swordsmen. They are nothing compared to a shinobi who can make a full garden in 5 minutes, Tsunami said. Funu sighed. Honestly, I do. He just make me feel like a normal person. I'm not Princess Funu, or Funu the heir to the Uchiha clan, or Funu the girl who was born with Madara's talent. With him I'm just Funu teammate and friend, and he treats me like he treats his other friends even if we only knew each other for a few months. And honestly, when we was flying in his paper plane and he had his arms around my waist protectively, I felt as if that was where I belonged, like he was my knight in shiny orange armor, she said. Tsunami nodded. I remember that feeling when I fell in love with Inari's Otusan, except the flying around in a giant paper plane, of course, but you should talk to him about how you feel. You don't want to be sending him mixed signals, and that's what you're doing, and he is getting confused by them, she said. You think I should? From what I understand, he is dating this kunoichi named Hinata Hyuga, and we are rivals. I don't want to mess their relationship up, Funu said. I met him before a few years ago, and if I remember correctly, Naruto was the heir to 3 clans and was able to have more than one wife if he wants, so yes, I would suggest you talk to him before he closes off any chances and puts you in the friend-only category, Tsunami said. Thanks, Tsunami, I'll go talk to him now, Funu said, then hugged the older woman and ran out the house. Funu ran through the trees and found Naruto in a clearing with his shirt off, sparing his clone. She took a deep breath and walked out. You know, training is better if you have an actual person with you, that way they can tell you the mistakes you're making, she said. Yay, but the only person I would spar with without the worry of them trying to steal my moves is you, and I needed to get away from you to think clearly, he said. She nodded. Can we spar? I need to talk to you, but I'm too distracted by my own thoughts. Sparring will help get them straight, she said. Sure, Naruto said and dispelled his clones. The two started sparring. 5 minutes into the spar, Funu started. I talked with Tsunami and she told me I was sending you mixed signals, she said. Yes, usually I can tell what a person wants, but you I can't. Sometimes I get the feeling you only want to be a friend, then others it's like you hate me, then at times like last night I feel as if we really connected and you wanted more than just friendship. Quite frankly, Funu, you're a very confusing kunoichi, he said. She smiled. Honestly, I don't truly know what I want, but I know that I want to be with you. I like you, Naruto, and I am not sure when it started, but last night I felt that when you had your arms around my waist in your paper plane that I was protected from everything in the world. You don't treat me like a princess or like I'm Grandpa Madara's legacy. You treat me like Funu, which is what I want to be treated like, she said. Imagine a direct descendant of Madara and a direct descendant of the Tobirama talking about becoming more than friends, Naruto said. They stopped sparring and looked at each other and laughed at the irony of it. After they stopped laughing, they laid down with Funu resting her head on Naruto's chest. We need to get back to our team before they come looking for us, Naruto said. Don't worry, we can send them clones so we don't have to deal with their crap today. I personally want to go swimming, Funu said. But we have to go to the bridge with Tazuna, Naruto said. Which crosses the ocean, Naruto. We can still swim there, Funu said. Back at Tsunami House, Tazuna was finished getting dressed and walked into the living room. Whereas Naruto and Funu, they are supposed to come with me to the bridge, he asked. The two named genins ran into the house sweating. We are here, sorry we got distracted by our spar, Naruto said. Tsunami tossed Funu 2 apples and winked at her. Funu caught the 2 and gave one to Naruto. Here, Naruto, she said, giving him an apple. Well, let's get going. That bridge ain't going to build itself, Tazuna said, walking out the house. They got to the bridge and both Funu and Naruto made a few cage bushings. They then took off their clothes, leaving Naruto in his boxers and Funu in her bra and panties. Naruto looked at her and blushed. She has the body type of Tshum, it's so sexy, he thought. Funu looked at him. Are you going to stare at my body or come swim with me? She then jumped in the water followed by Naruto. 2 weeks later, Naruto woke up late in the morning to Funu shaking him. She slowly sat up. What time is it? He asked. It's 11 already. Everyone else is at the bridge. Funu sent me to wake you, the clone said. What 11? Why didn't they wake me? Naruto panicked. Because you overworked yourself training last night and Funu thought you needed the rest, the clone said. Naruto swung his feet off the bed. I'm going to shower, he said and walked out the room. A few minutes later Naruto was walking downstairs. Well, I'm off to the bridge, he said. Wait here, eat some fruit on your way, Tsunami yelled from the kitchen. Okay, thanks, Naruto replied. Hey Naruto, leave a clone just in case Gato's men try something with Tazuna's family to get him to stop building the bridge, Funu said. Good idea. Kage Bushin no Jutsu. Naruto created one clone and went outside. Kami origami. Paper plane, he said, putting his hands on the ground, creating a paper plane and jumping in it. Soon he was taking off towards the bridge high up in the sky. Wow, that's so cool, Inari yelled. Yes it is, but you can't tell anyone about that. After the mission is over we will create a clone to stay behind for a few hours to fly you and your cousin around the country, Naruto's clone said. That would be nice, Tsunami said. At the bridge Kakashi was fighting Zabuza while Sasuke and Funu was trying to fight Kisame. Sakura was guarding Tazuna. Kakashi was slowly getting the upper hand on Zabuza while Kisame was having the time of his life with Funu and Sasuke. Funu of course had her Sharingan active, copying all his moves and jutsus. They both was knocked back by Kisame as he swung his Samahata at them. He started to laugh. Is this the best that two Uchihas can do? Granted, I wouldn't expect some Genins to beat me, but still, Kisame said. Shut up, you overgrown sushi, Funu said. Kisame just laughed. Naruto was now directly over the bridge and found Funu's chakra source. He jumped out of his plane and fell towards the ground extremely fast. He bit his thumb and swiped it across his seal, grabbing his gunblade. He got closer and saw a blue figure looming, walking towards Funu and Sasuke. He thought he saw Funu looked up at him because she attacked Kisame, but wasn't sure. Before he had another thought, he slammed his gunblade on the ground, cutting Kisame across his arm, but missed taking it off as he had intended. Kisame jumped back in surprise as he sensed Naruto at the last minute but dropped his Samahata in pain as his arm was cut deeply by the blonde. You bastard, you will pay for that, he yelled. About time you got here, Naruto, Funu said. Sorry for oversleeping, Naruto said. Don't be. If you was here from the start then we all would have been getting our kicked. This way we at least have a chance to fight him since he can only use one arm, Funu said. Why the hell is it so foggy? Naruto asked. It's a jutsu that Zabuza used, Funu said. Naruto went through some hand signs. Fuden, great breakthrough, he said. The resulting wind blew the fog away, making everything clear again. Looks like your only cover is gone, Zabuza, your life is next. Kakashi went through some hand signs. Chidori, he used his Sharingan to freeze Zabuza while he plunged the attack into his heart. Damn it. Kisame grabbed his weapon and vanished in a burst of speed. Gato and all his men came up to the bridge. Looks like shinobis are useless, he said. Damn, I don't have enough chakra to fight them, Kakashi cursed. Leave this to me, Naruto said, stepping up. Taju Kage Bushin no Jutsu, he yelled, creating 500 clones. You know what to do, he said. The clones, all with gunblade in hand, attacked the samurais. Naruto went and dragged Gato over. What about him? Naruto asked. Kakashi threw a kunai at Gato's head, killing him. What about him? He asked. Naruto shrugged and threw him back towards the other dead people. Naruto burned Gato and his men, then bury Zabuza, Kakashi ordered. What? Why do I have to do the grunt work? Naruto yelled. Because you didn't do anything else, Kakashi said. What about Sakura? She didn't do anything, and I killed Gato's men, Naruto said. She protected Tazuna, Kakashi said. I'll help you, Naruto, Funu offered and went to pull the bodies into one pile. A few days later, Team 7 was standing in front of the newly built bridge. We must thank you for helping us get this bridge finished. Now we can start to bring money back to our country, Tazuna said. Otusan, we need a name for the bridge, Tsunami said. The super cool bridge built by Tazuna, the old man replied. No, Tsunami said. The awesome bridge of Nami no Kuni, Tazuna asked. Try again, Tsunami said. How about the awesome Naruto Uzumaki bridge, Inari suggested. Yes, I like it, Tazuna said. I agree, it's a perfect name, Tsunami said. Looks like you made a great impression on the country, Funu said. Naruto was speechless about the bridge being named after him. Well, team, time to get back to Konoha, Kakashi said and walked off. Naruto and Funu stayed behind for a few seconds. Taju Kage Bushin no Jutsu, Naruto said. Kage Bushin no Jutsu, Funu said. Naruto created 200 clones while Funu created 20. You know what to do, they both said and caught up with their team. At Konoha's gate, Naruto and Funu got the information back from their clones and smiled. It took longer to make a few farms and trees than I thought it would, Naruto said quietly. Yes, it also took a while to teach the people how to fish and create flour from wheat. The only one who knew how to do it was Tsunami, Funu said. What are you two talking about? Kakashi asked. Nothing, they both said. They arrived in the Hokage's office. How was the mission? The third asked. Besides Naruto not following orders, it was fine, Kakashi said. Not following orders? The third asked. I was injured and I told Naruto to help Sasuke with a few jutsus that I have, and he argued that he wasn't going to help Sasuke and went on about kicking him out of a paper airplane, whatever that is, Kakashi said. What, you lie, it wasn't anything like that. You tried to make me teach Tem my jutsus that I worked hard to learn, Naruto yelled. Naruto, be quiet until I give you permission to speak, the third aide. But Gigi. Naruto was cut off. Be quiet or I will be forced to call Konan, and she is in a pissed off mood right now, the third said. Naruto huffed and shut up. Now Kakashi, I want a full report, the third said. Kakashi told him the mission report, with a few alterations to make Sasuke look good and Naruto look like he was a waste of time. So as you can see, the only useful thing Naruto did was find some fresh food and locate where Gato hideout was, he finished. Is that all? The third asked. Yes, Kakashi replied. Okay, you're all dismissed. Naruto and Funu, you two stay, he said. Once the other three was gone, he addressed them. I know Kakashi is showing favorites towards Sasuke and altered the mission report to make him look good. I had an Anbu follow the team during the entire mission. What he told me is why Konan is so pissed off, but more importantly, you two must learn to deal with them if you want to succeed as ninjas, because you can't advance in ranks if you are kicked off your team for insubordination. Next time Kakashi request for any of you to show Sasuke a jutsu, tell him you can't because your jutsus are clan only and don't make a scene with it, he told them. Okay, Naruto said. Good. Now what's this paper plan Kakashi talked about? The third asked. Well, Gigi, it's a jutsu that Kasen taught me. Using our kami origami, we can create a paper plane strong enough to fly up to 2 people. It's a great way to transport injured people or just to fly around for fun, Naruto said with a smile. Is that so? You will have to show it to me one day. The third was interrupted by a knock on the door. Come in, he said. Yugo and her team came into the room. We are back from our mission. Oh, I didn't know you was busy, she said, seeing Naruto and Funu. Oh, I'm not. We was just catching up and I learned an interesting fact about Naruto that I never knew, the third said. Oh, well, the mission was a success, and Hinata expertly negotiated a treaty between Konoha and Kiri, Yugo said. I must say, Hinata, your skills with political things is as good as, if not surpassing, your Kasen. You have a bright future as a diplomat, the third praised. Hinata blushed slightly. Thank you, Hokage-sama, she said. Well, if that is everything, you all can leave. I have a lot of paperwork to do, as you can see, the third said. Why don't you use Kage Bushin? They will help greatly with your work, Naruto asked. The third just chuckled at the simple solution as everyone left. Hey Naruto, want to come to my compound? I'm cooking lunch when I get there, Sudaru asked. Really, I'm hungry, I would love to come, your cooking is so good, Naruto said excitedly while Yugo laughed lightly. Naruto then thought about something. Wait, I need to talk to Hina, he said. Hinata looked at him confused, then at Funu and back. About what? She asked. Naruto fidgeted. Can we talk in private? He asked. Okay. She led him down the hallway. Now Hina, I want to ask. He was cut off. I approve, she said. Huh? Naruto asked dumbfounded. You want to ask if you can bring Funu in on our family, and since I'm the lead girl you need to ask me and she needs my approval and I approve of her, Hinata said. How did you know? Naruto asked. Hinata smiled. Naru-kun, we have been best friends since before we can remember. I know you better than you know yourself, and you only get this nervous when it's about our family. It was the same thing with Kirei, Haku, and Riri, even though she isn't officially in it yet, and Funu is a nice girl when you get to know her and she is strong mentally and physically, not to mention when I need to kick someone's I won't have to go far to find her, she said. You're the best, Hina, Naruto said, hugging her and kissing her. They caught up with her team. So Uchiha, are you coming with us? Hinata asked. Funu met her eyes. Sure, whatever Hyuga, she said. Naru-kun, don't forget to let Tsunade and Konan know, you know how they hate surprises like this, Hinata said. At the Senju compound, Naruto and Funu walked into the Senju compound after leaving the Akamichi compound and Hinata explaining how things worked with their harem. Basically, it was Hinata automatically gets the original Naruto when there are more than one girl around. Unless Naruto was already with a girl, then they could keep him. All girls first need to prove to Naruto that they like him for him and not his name or bloodlines. All girls need Hinata's approval. Only the combined approval or denial of both Tsunade and Konan can overrule Hinata's decision on a girl. All girls called Naruto by the name Naru-kun to show everyone else that they was part of the family. All girls must have a summon or sign a summon contact before they are considered part of the family. All girls must be independent and not wait for Naruto to take care of them. And finally, all girls are to treat each other like sisters. That didn't mean they couldn't have a friendly rivalry between them. Funu nervously followed Naruto, wondering if his cousin and Itoko would like her or deny her from being with Naruto. She blocked those thoughts out of her head and walked behind Naruto with the confidence that she would be accepted. Wait here, Funu, I have to make sure that they are not in a meeting, Naruto said and walked into the house. He looked around. Cousin Itoko, he called out. In the kitchen, Konan replied. Naruto walked into the kitchen and saw Konan, Shizune, Tsunade, Anko, Kurenai, Rin, Kirei, Haku, and Riri sitting at the table. What's going on? He asked. Nothing, just bored, Riri replied. Oh, Naruto said. So did you want something, Naru-chan? Konan asked. Oh yes, well, Hinata approved of someone and well, you know, he said. Oh, she did, what's her name? Konan asked. Funu, Naruto whispered quietly. I didn't hear you, Naru-chan, Konan said. Funu, Naruto said louder. The Uchiha girl? Tsunade asked. Yes, he replied. Why would Hinata approve of her? I thought they hated each other, Kirei asked. They don't hate each other. They are more of rivals. I can understand why she approved, though they fight every time they see each other just like real sisters, Anko said. Well, bring her in, Konan said. Naruto went to get Funu and brought into the kitchen, so I finally meet the only sane member of Naru-chan team, Konan said. So why should I approve of you? Tsunade asked. Well, honestly, I didn't know I liked Naruto until our last mission in Nami no Kuni, when Tsunami, who by the is very nice, told me I was sending him mixed signals. Once I was able to clear my thoughts, I found out that in fact I did like him more than the friend I thought of him as, Funu said. What made you realize you liked him though? Konan asked. Well, every time Sensei would demand Naruto to teach Sasuke a jutsu, I would end up just as mad as Naruto was. Then one day when Naruto left the house to clear his thought, I ran after him without think and tried all I could to make him happy again. Then he asked me if I wanted to see one of his jutsus. The paper plane won. He flew me around and had his arms around my waist so protectively, yet in a gentle way also. That's when I knew I would do anything to get him to wrap his arms around me like that again, and to see his bright smile, Funu told them. Tsunade nodded. I'm actually surprised you told us all that. Most girls would have tried to impress us by talking about how they can add to our clan to make it stronger and stuff like that, she said. Well, I do want to be with someone who is strong and protect me, but I'm a kunoichi and I don't like bragging about my skills. Besides, there is nothing I can give your clan that will make it stronger. The Senju is historically one of the strongest clan, and the only clan to have two sub-clans branching off from it. If anything, you all can help me get stronger, Funu said. Tsunade smiled. I like you. You have my approval, she said. Conan looked at Funu. How do you feel about avenging you clan? She asked. Funu had a distant look in her eyes. Well, if I come across Itachi, then I will fight him, but I won't waste my life seeking revenge, she said. Will you use my nephew for your revenge? Conan asked. Nephew? I thought you was his cousin, Funu asked. No, his Okasan was my older sister. Now answer my question, Conan said. If he wants to help, then I won't stop him, but I also won't force him to help. It's completely up to him. Like I said, I'm not looking for revenge. I'm sure Itachi had more of a reason than just testing his power. Also, I really don't want revenge just to find out the truth, Funu said. Conan looked at her for 10 long minutes. Funu got nervous under her gaze. You have my approval, she finally said. Funu smiled. Thank you. You won't regret your decision, she said. Now there are a few requirements you have to meet. First, do you have a summon? Tsunade asked. Summoning no jutsu, Funu said, and summoned a small lion. Naruto helped me find the contract while we was in Nami no Kuni, she said. Okay, second, you will refer to Naru-chan as Naru-kun whether it's out in public or in private, Conan said. Okay, Funu replied. Next, Hina gets first choice of the original Naruto when he makes clones of himself for everyone, Tsunade said. Funu nodded. Next, you have to go through our family training program, which consists of learning you to use 20 different weapons, and 4 different taijutsu styles, Conan said. You must decide if you are to move into the Senju compound or stay at your apartment, Tsunade said. I want to live here if I can, Funu said quickly. Next, since you are the heir to the Uchiha clan, I expect you to bring a copy of all the scrolls, jutsu and information scrolls, in the Uchiha compound here for your reference, and I expect you to have 2 Uchiha babies with my nephew by the time you turn 18. Don't feel like we are being hard, everyone has the same restrictions as you, even Hina, his first original girlfriend. The 3 you see here already have met all the requirements except have 2 children, Conan said. Also, you have to add your chakra and blood to all the seals in the compound, and you are not to go in another bedroom without the personal consent of who the room belonged to, Tsunade said. Oh, one more thing. In our library you will find different sections: Senju, Namikaze, Uzumaki, Hyuga, Haku, Jiraiya, Rin, Riri, Kagaya, Mitarashi, Yugito, Uehi, Azuki, and Naru-chan will add an Uchiha section later today. All sections with a name over it is off limits except to the family of that person. There is also a main section that is open to everyone with all types of jutsus and scrolls for you to study, but if you are caught in a section that is off limits to you for any reason except the person whose section you're in being there with you, well, you don't want to know what will happen, as every section has multiple traps and even I won't survive in those sections, Conan said. Funu nodded her understanding. So can Naru-kun go in other sections? She asked. No, even Naru-chan is forbidden in a section that does not have his blood in the seal, Conan said. Just stay out any section that's not your and you will be safe. Also, I suggest you write down a complete scroll for every jutsu you copy with your Sharingan so your kids can learn them, Tsunade said. That reminds me, you're forbidden to use your Sharingan to copy and of our family's jutsus. The family includes Anko, Haku, Hinata, Jiraiya, Kirei, Kurenai, me, Naruto, Rin, Riri, Shizune, Tsunade, Yugito, And you go, Conan said. Okay, I have a question. You named Shizune on the family list but no on the Forbidden Library section. Why? And why aren't the Namikaze Senju and Uzumaki in one section if they are descendants of the Senju clan? Funu asked. Well, Funu Shizune is part of the family but she chose not to make a forbidden section and just make her section the medic section since most of her jutsus are in that field except a few element jutsus she uses which are in the main section. As for your second question, the Namikaze and Uzumaki are descendants of the Senju but we can't use each other's jutsus, meaning the Senju can't use Kami origami that the Uzumaki use, neither can the Namikaze, and the Uzumaki and Namikaze can't use Mokuden jutsus, and the Senju or Uzumaki can't use the seals that the Namikaze are famous for. Naru-chan is truly the only person able to use all three at the moment, just how you and Hinata are descendants of each other but you can't use each other clan-specific jutsus, Conan said. Now Funu here is an extra large scroll. It should be big enough to hold everything in the Uchiha compound you need to bring. Once you come back, Naru-chan will have your section completed and your bedroom will be marked with your name, Tsunade said, handing her a huge scroll. Also, you will see a section that has summoning scrolls in it. You can put your lion contract in it so you won't have to keep carrying it around, Conan said. A few weeks later, Funu read the scrolls for the different weapon styles she was supposed to learn with her 20 clones. Each clone had a scroll for a different weapon, cutting down the time it would take to learn them to just a few weeks. Surprising to everyone, she got along well with Riri since they both had the same attitude. At the moment, the two kunoichis was in the Senju training grounds going over the last level for Funu. Then she would be finished learning how to use the 19 different weapons since she was already a level 5 master with the bow staff. Naruto walked up to them. Hey, want to go flying with me? He asked. Sure, Naru-kun, I'm tired from training so much anyway, Riri said. Mita, Funu said. Naruto made a clone and produced 2 paper airplanes. Which of us get the real Naru-kun? Riri asked. Let's flip a coin for it, Funu suggested. Fine, Riri said, and flipped a coin. The 4 hopped in the 2 planes and they took off. They was flying over the village up high so no one could see them but close enough so they could see everything. Naruto flew them over the training ground to see if anyone was there and was surprised to find Kakashi training Sasuke. The 3 shinobis plus the clone looked down on them train. Funu activated her Sharingan and copied the jutsus that Kakashi was teaching Sasuke. Eventually Kakashi demonstrated the Chidori and Reikiri both, which was copied by Funu. Hey, let's go back to the compound. I want to try something, Funu said after she measured how Kakashi was using his chakra. Naruto flew them back to the compound and Funu immediately got off the plane and went through some hand signs. The first 2 tries nothing but small sparks came out. On her 3rd try she put as much chakra as she could in it. Chidori, she yelled. The jutsu worked properly and was so loud Naruto and Riri covered their ears and Conan and Yugito ran out the house to see what was happening. Funu then passed out from chakra depletion. Naruto caught her before she hit the ground. What the hell happened? Conan asked. We was flying over the village and found Kakashi training Sasuke and she copied his jutsu and wanted to see if she could do it, Naruto said. She will never be able to use it right unless she goes through Raiden training, Yugito said. I'll collect everyone so you can put them all through the training, Conan said. Sure. Personally, I think everyone should be trained to use any element, Yugito said. We might start that, Conan said. 2 months later, Suduru was walking around the village bored when she saw Naruto talking to the Konohamaru Corps. She went over to them. Hello Naruto, she said. Hi Suduru, want to play with us? Naruto said. What are you playing? Suduru asked. Ninja, Konohamaru said happily. I would love to play, Suduru said. How pathetic, ninjas playing ninjas. They heard a female's voice behind them. They turned around. Boss, who is the flat-chested, big forehead, pink-haired, loud-mouthed girl? Konohamaru asked. That would my teammate, Naruto said. I feel sorry if you have to deal with that, Moegi said. I feel sorry for myself, the only thing she does right is get in the way, Naruto said. Naruto, she may be useless, but it's not nice to talk about people, Suduru nicely told him. I think she can still hear us. Udon pointed to the fuming, pissed off Sakura marching over to them. No worries, she won't dare touch me. My grandfather is the Hokage, Konohamaru said. Naruto no baka, why are you corrupting those innocent kids and that poor Akamichi with your nonsense? She swung her fist at Naruto but was stopped by Suduru. Don't touch my friend, you useless excuse for a kunoichi, or I will put you in the hospital, Suduru threatened. Let's see you try. Sakura went through some hand signs. Bushin no jutsu, she said. People actually use that jutsu in a fight? Naruto asked. Suduru was just as shocked by the useless jutsu. Go figure, it's the only one she can use with her pathetic chakra, she said. She then went through some hand signs, secret art, body expansion, right arm, and smacked all three Sakuras, sending the real one flying back. Sakura tried to get up but was surrounded by Funu, Hinata, Kirei, Haku, Riri, and Suduru. She looked at the girls. What do you all want? She asked. Why do you always have to attack Naru-kun? Hinata asked. He is corrupting those kids and Suduru, Sakura yelled. I can't be corrupted unless I want to be, Suduru said. That's just Naruto no baka messing with your head, Sakura replied. Funu smirked. I'm going to love our spar later today in team training. It's been a while since I went all out on someone who is not a Hyuga, she said, looking evilly at Sakura. Said girl gulped. I have to go. She then tried to run past Riri but was stopped by her outstretched arm. Be lucky Naru-kun and Funu needs you alive to take the Chunin exams, or I would kill you where you stand, she said, then moved away from the frightened girl. Wow boss, these girls are way better looking than the pink-haired wench, Konohamaru said. Konohamaru, don't use that language, Naruto told him. Sorry. Hey, you all want to play ninja with us? Konohamaru asked. Okay. They all replied and started to play ninja. The Konohamaru corps surprised them at how good their teamwork was. Once they was finished playing, they was about to go to a restaurant when Suduru offered to cook. Hey Suduru, I have a recipe book, can you cook something out of it? Naruto asked, hopping around with hope. Suduru smiled. Of course I can, Naruto, she said. Yes, Suduru is the best. Naruto cheered, pulling out the scroll that had all his recipe books he collected in them. After they ate the western food Suduru cooked, she thought about something. Naruto, you should take one of these books to Tuki so he can add the food to his restaurant and get more business. He told me that besides me and you he don't get much business, she said. I will, Naruto said.